Welcome to the Lebanon Leprechaun Show, our final one of the season. I'm Dave Peach, getting set for two big games at the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse. And today our special guest, well, we got two special guests. Guest one, John Benson, the general manager of the Lebanon Leprechauns. And coach, I always, if you're a coach with me, you're always a coach. But GM, John, how are you doing today?
Doing good, doing well. Glad to be here. Excited.
Now, give us your story. You were a coach for a couple of teams in the TBL, maybe three. Lebanon last year, this year moving into the GM role. So first, your coaching background in the TBL.
Yeah, so I was been with two teams, Indiana All-Americans, and then been 2 years with Lebanon and then coaching, and then this third year as general manager. Before the All-Americans, I was with a league called Hoosier Hardwood, which then evolved to the Indiana All-Americans coming together with the TBL. So,
and you're also a high school coach.
Yeah. So spent time at Hagerstown and some time at Newcastle, and some changes are coming about. So maybe somewhere else this coming year. So just love being around basketball and coaching basketball. So,
and a basketball family.
Of course, yeah, big basketball family. Dad played college ball. My uncle played college ball, played in the NBA. So played college ball myself. Same with my brother. So big basketball family.
And I know Newcastle is a home, and that is kind of a basketball tradition in and of itself.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, it's the world's largest field house and high school field house. Seating almost 10,000 people, and the basketball hysteria around Newcastle is just huge. So yeah, it's big basketball town.
Home of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. And talk about the TBL. You've been a coach, you've been a general manager. Your thoughts on the league and the positivity that it brings to the players and the communities?
Yeah, so being in the league 4 years now, I mean, there's been a lot of changes over the last 4 years, but changes for the good. The Magleys have done excellent in providing another source for players to show their talents, get more stats, more film to get them places where they dream to play. There's obviously bumps in the road. I mean, about with everything, but the league's getting more and more respect. It's getting more and more recognition. Getting owners like Chris here at Lebanon, getting more and more understanding of what organizations need to do to help these individuals play the game of basketball and get themselves where they want to be is big.
What do you think, what are some things as you look at the Lebanon Leprechaun franchise, what are some things that Lebanon's doing right? What are some things that you're pleased with?
So, being a coach and now the GM, there's I don't do anywhere near as much travel as I used to being the GM, but when you walk into our game, per se, our show, it truly is a show, not just a game of basketball. It's where you get entertainment. It's where you can invite friends for, in all reality, it's pretty cheap entertainment. Seeing these grown men play the game of basketball that they love and being community involved. And I think that's huge for what Lebanon does, and we're going to continue to do it, down the road. So, from what this organization does for this town is just massive. And there's been so many people that have come up to me after games or before games that, we're so glad that this is here. So,
evaluate the season.
Well, I can tell you this much: it was better than the last two seasons. Let's put it that way. We've grown. We've had our ups and downs. We've had challenges, but in the end, we've made progress, especially over the last 2 years. We've been able to have some good individuals come in, and unfortunately some that left. But in the end, we're making progress, and we can't fix everything overnight. We can't fix everything in one season. So if we're heading in the right direction, which we are, unfortunately, that's not making the playoffs this year is big, but I have no doubt that next year will definitely be even better.
What do you look for in a player? What do you see? What do you look for in a player to evaluate whether they're going to be a good fit for the TBL?
That is a loaded question. Because a lot of the times you don't necessarily see these individuals in person. So you're relying on a lot of trusted people in regards to other coaches, agents, other GMs, film, personal conversations with them. So it's always hard to gauge right out the gate. And unfortunately, that's why you see some turnover, per se, on teams, because you may see something on film or see the individual as a whole, but it may not mix right. And there's been some challenges with us this year with that, and it comes and goes, but in the end, I personally look for high character, commitment, and willing to be coachable. Obviously, talent needs to be there too, but it's hard to see those three things right out the gate. And there's sometimes where you have to take one and be a little more lenient on the other. But I hope in the future we can have a pretty stern of what we're looking for.
And you got to be happy this year to beat Kokomo in the final game.
Yeah, it took us 5 times, but we beat them the last game, and we're able to hold that Magley belt for the rest of the year. And look, Kokomo is a great organization, great team. It's always fun to be kind of an in-house TBL rival with them, but great win, and we'll take that belt anytime we can get it.
What are you looking for the team for the final 2 games?
Look, we've made some changes for the last 2 games. So what I'm looking for is just for us to end strong. Obviously, we want wins, right? But in the end, I want the guys to have fun. I want them to enjoy the last 2 games, enjoy this experience with this organization, because you never know what can happen, after these 2 games. So my hope is, obviously, we want to win the last 2 games, but have fun, coach have fun, and just play hard. That's all I ask. Just play hard. So,
it's so much fun calling the games. How is it being the GM?
I think it's about as stressful as being the coach sometimes. But you can't really do anything about it. You can't really say much like you can when you're a coach. But it's been fun. It really has. Sitting back and actually watching the game as a whole, because sometimes as a coach you can't really watch the game as a whole. It's been really fun. It really has. It's put a different perspective on it for me. I've learned a lot this year. I thought I knew more than what I did coming into this GM role, but it's been fun. I get stressed out at games when I'm watching them at home or in the stands, and hey, I'll be the first one to say I'll yell at the refs myself, but that's what makes it fun, fun and competitive. So,
and your day job?
Yeah, so I work for Bain Welker. They're a farm equipment dealership. They're based out of Ladoga, Indiana, just over by Crawfordsville.
I've been there.
Yeah. That's our main office. They've got 13 locations over Indiana and Ohio, but I saw farm equipment across 3 or 4 counties. East Central Indiana, Wayne County, Henry County, Randolph, all those. So I enjoy being outside. I enjoy the farming aspect of it all, and of course, having the opportunity to do basketball. So.
Yeah, that is indeed an honor, and certainly we all have day jobs. Chris has a day job, right? Yeah. But we all do the TBL out of love for the game, love for the town, love for the city. And one final question: what we'd like to say to the fans out there as far as year 4?
Yeah, so big thank you. We obviously couldn't do this without you, and I've had a lot of praises coming from the fans, and we thank you for that. We do this for you. So coming out of year 4, we've gotten better, but year 5 will be even better. So thank you.
That is the general manager of the Lebanon Leprechauns, John Benson. We'll have the TMO, Chris Canal, coming up next on the Lebanon Leprechaun Show. Don't forget, we've got a home game Thursday. We'll take on St. Louis, and then Friday on May 23rd, the final game of the season, again at home at the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse, and that will be against Logansport. Both of those games will start at 7 o'clock. The TMO, Chris Canal, is next on the Lebanon Leprechaun Show. Lebanon Leprechaun Show. We've got the TMO, Chris Canal here. Chris, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good, Dave. Thanks for having us, and thanks for having Coach Benson to wrap the podcast season up. It's been a fun year.
Your first year as TMO. Thoughts on taking this over, and thoughts on year 4 for the Leprechauns?
Yeah, I think it's and John mentioned it. This year he stepped into that GM role, and you see things a lot differently. And as far as the Lebanon Leprechauns go, I came to the organization as a fan and a sponsor, and now in this role, you kind of see things in a lot different way. And Coach Benson and I both it started players and then coaches. It's just a different dynamic. So I think as he mentioned earlier in this podcast is we wouldn't be honest if we didn't say we weren't slightly disappointed, because I think at the beginning of the year we kind of set the goal of kind of a 3-year plan. This year we wanted to make the playoffs, and I think the stretch goal would be to win our division. Next year we want to win the division and go deep, and then put ourselves in position to win a TBL championship in year 3. This year looks like it's going to finish about 500. A lot of positives, a lot more positives than negatives. So all in all, it's steady as she goes, and I think we're right where we need to be.
What did you see as a business person here in Boone County and Western Indiana? What did you see as far as the TBL? What attracted you to become the owner?
Well, I mean, just to be brutally honest, it was the fear of not having an organization here in town. And so, I guess my personal goal was to bring stability to the franchise, and so that the community would have this. What drew me was first of all, from a business standpoint, I mean, this is a business, and this is a small business. It's a very different business. It's very challenging, but it's basketball. And like, a lot of people in Indiana, it's in my blood. So what really attracted me was when I would go to the games with my kids, and to see how my kids reacted, and the players, and how they interacted, and how close you could get to the players. It's such a unique thing. And once you get that, once you taste that and you see what's happening, especially as a parent, when you see one of your children, I mean, it's going to be part of his childhood. And so that really was the motivating factor. Then you get into it and you realize, our folks at Crown Point, the fan base, it's very meaningful. So I think all in all, just that was the main attraction to being involved. I think then the next layer of it is it's a business, and it's an opportunity for businesses in the community to get involved, to be able to deliver their message to fans and to potential customers. So I think there's a lot going on here. So it's much more than I thought.
Looking back at the season, what are some pluses and any minuses you want to share?
Sure. I think that, like anything, it's the relationships that you make and you build. John was on just before me. I didn't know John other than I knew he was the coach of the team. And when we got together and started putting this thing together, I feel like, that relationship, that friendship, and that bond, it's going to last forever. And I can take that through our players, to our volunteer base, even you, Dave. I mean, we've got to know each other. And I think when you go through life, that's the most valuable thing that you gain from any experience. So literally hundreds of people that are now people that I feel like I have a friendship and a relationship with. So, and I hope that's going on the other side of the fence. I hope when our player comes to Lebanon, they feel that they're embraced by the community, and these relationships will last a long time.
We got a lot of people to thank. Start out with the city of Lebanon.
Yeah, I think I'll go all the way back to Dave and Evelyn Magley created this TBL, and I was with David yesterday for about 4 hours, and it's just as challenging now as it was when they started. And so the respect that you have for somebody that has a vision as an entrepreneur to create something, and Preston, Preston Myers brought the team to town a handful of years ago, and so the city, it's just like I can think the heart of Lebanon, just for example. There's really, it's just, the list is too long of all the people to thank when it comes to, municipal people and things of that nature. But the next thing you're going to ask me probably is on the individual level.
Yes. Yes.
And Dave's never going to say this, but he's an example, and there are probably 40 people in our organization that occupy different seats on this train that's going down the TBL track. Dave's one of the most. You're one of the most respected media personnel in the league. So much that the league invites Dave to broadcast the draft each year. And so I could talk, and I hate mentioning names, but I'm going to mention a few. Curtis, who sits at the scores table, is well respected around the league. Lisa and Brittany and John and the crew that does the streaming. So we are so blessed to have a group of volunteers. And as we tape this in a few hours, we're going to have a volunteer appreciation dinner, which is going to be fun because the players just show up and play basketball. And they just think at 5 o'clock everything's just magic. The chairs are out and the music's playing. So tonight, the players are going to cook out, they're going to grill out, and all the volunteers are going to sit down and get served. So I'm super excited to show them, the recognition that they deserve.
Well, I got to say, Curtis and Lisa, Britt, and even Joe on the PA. We're a band. We're our own little band over there.
So I got a compliment. We were in a road game. I now I do remember. I'm not going to mention what road game it was. And the scores table was struggling. It's a big job.
And Tim, I forgot Malibu Tim.
And had a referee come over. I was sitting across from the bench, and he came over and said, "I want you to know that by far," and this guy works a lot of different games, the best 2 scores table in the league are you guys in Potawatomi. And the reason he mentioned Potawatomi, it's in Oklahoma, it's the Oklahoma Thunder's scores table. It's the same group that does the Thunder games, does the entire. So, I mean, just to be in that category is pretty cool. So, and I would just challenge people, if you've never been to one of our home games, you will feel like I felt the first time I walked in, is there's a lot going on. There's a lot that makes this go around, and it is a show. It surely is a show.
Well, I got to ask, 2026.
Yeah, I think, again, back to kind of some of the goals I really wanted to learn. I've learned a lot. John mentioned he felt like he knew a lot going in, and realized I admitted I didn't really know much about the league and how it worked. So I feel like that from a personal standpoint, from an organization, we're in a better spot. And yeah, I think that, our mission is to be a community asset and to affect individuals in a positive way. And so high character people in the organization, all the way through our volunteer group to our players we bring in, we want to do it the right way. And sometimes you get that, like, short term, I could maybe make this decision, I could win today. What we're doing is building something that we want to build for the long haul. So yeah, it's going to be fun. We've got, our guys did a great job this year. They did everything we asked, and it literally came down to probably just didn't shoot the ball as well as we could have. We shot a lot of threes this year. That's the way our team was built, and we did the math. If we would have shot about a percentage higher from the 3 and from the free throw line, we'd be looking at this in a lot different way.
Every game is so, as far as the attractions and everything that go on, we need to mention the Emerald Spirit dance team. They do such a great job every game, and they're respected in the league, and certainly will be up there for dance team of the year and the whole atmosphere. Of course, Corey, got to mention Corey he's the hype person, as they say. So really evaluate the show as far as the Lebanon Leprechauns off, non-basketball.
Yeah. So start when you walk in. Chris Spate's been around the organization since the beginning. She has her cast and crew up there from the time you walk in the door, taking tickets, making sure people where they need to get to, the opposing team locker room, referees. We've got people manned at all the different stations. You've kind of mentioned the dance team. Emily doesn't get the credit she deserves, probably. She's a Pacer cheerleader, and as the Pacers make a run in the playoffs, I mean, her time is so scarce, and they put together an amazing team. She introduced us to Lauren Graham, who's DJ Logo, and I think having a professional DJ that was a former dancer, she was a pacemate herself, she knows the flow, and I think that added to the experience. We talked about the scores table. Another young man, Kyle Eden, who you had on the show, was an intern from Indianapolis, Indiana University of Indianapolis. When I know we're forgetting people who talked about the scores table, I can't thank them enough. And I try to each and every game go around and thank every person. But here's the thing that I do know, and I think you would validate this. I know that everybody that serves in the organization gets a reward for doing so. I feel like that the connection's there, and they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't feel that connection. And so everyone that comes in as a fan, I think, gets to experience that through osmosis, right? They get to see the show.
Well, it's been fun. We want to thank everybody here at Western Boone High School, Matt Foxworthy and the crew here to provide this setting and provide this platform for us to talk about the TBL and showcase our players and personnel. Has been wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't thank them enough. And I just encourage people to really look into what they're doing at Western Boone on the communications. We talked about it earlier. They compete at the state level and do very well. So we couldn't be happier. And it's just a blessing that we're able to do this.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Appreciate you.
TMO, Chris Canal, 2 more games. We got a home game Thursday. It is the St. Louis Griffins coming to the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse, 7 o'clock on Thursday. And then on the 23rd, Friday, the season ender when we take on Logansport. Again, a big thank you to everybody, all of our players, all of our guests throughout the podcasts. And again, big thank you to everybody here at WBTV. I'm Dave Peach, and this is the Lebanon Leprechaun Show.